All right, we're back from that. I'll count us back into the audio of the show. We're not even going to try for a smooth edit. We're just going to roll. Okay.
Yeah.
And we'll try to remember where we are in three, two, one.
All right. Well, that was fun. So my next one
Yeah.
was
Oh, we're
Shannon
just pretend.
McNally,
We're just pretending
Positively
that
4th
didn't
Street.
happen. We're just totally pretending that didn't happen.
That
Okay.
happened. That just
Okay.
happened.
Okay. Cool. All right. So yeah. Oh yes, because I was saying, and I was gonna ask you. I first of all, you turned me on to her. I love her. I'm a fan. I love her Waylon sessions a lot. I
Mm-hmm.
like her cover songs. I like her original stuff too. But you also know I have a horrific crush on her. That's a thing. Um, so yeah, she's good with a cover tune. I think she's
Yes.
pretty good. But that Waylon stuff sounds like just her singing. You know, she's not taking huge chances, but that's okay. Some people say like a cover tune, you're supposed to quote, make it your own. Um, which is cool. I hate it when like cover bands say, well, we made it our own, and it doesn't sound like the song at all.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's not good. I mean, there are people who take a song, make it their own, and it's totally cool and it's
Yes.
industrial or whatever. But it's just when you can't figure it out and you're in a cover band and you're like, well, we made it our own. It's like, no, dude, you just don't know how to play that chord.
Exactly.
That bugs me. But yeah, I like Shannon a lot too.
Positively 4th Street by her
That's a great song.
is fantastic.
That's such a great song.
It's from I don't know what record it's from. I can't. It's Shannon McNally and Hot Sauce or something like that. She
She
does,
loves,
like you said, she does kill her. Have you heard
yeah.
her cover of uh 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover?
No, is it
My
good?
God.
Oh, I'm gonna write that on my list here. 50 Ways by Shannon.
If you can't find it, I have an EP that it's on. I'll send it to you, but jeez.
Nice. All right,
That
there it
was
is.
not released on an album either, was it? Positively 4th Street.
A Dylan album?
I don't think it
I
was.
don't know. Is that
It's
Positively
basically
Fourth
a
Street? Is that the one with the big organ intro? Right. That's Al Cooper's
yeah,
organ intro. Yeah,
and
which
he's
is killer.
basically telling a couple people that didn't believe in him to
Right.
piss off or
Piss off.
something.
You
Yeah.
got a lot of nerve.
Yeah.
You say you are my friend. Yeah, that's a great tune. I use that song in my personal life a lot. I got a lot of people who that song relates to. I'm gonna go. So I did You Ain't Go Nowhere when we talked about the Birds. Here's another early Dylan cover that, man, I got so lucky to see it and hear it, and I won't get the year right. I'm gonna say 85. That doesn't feel right. But it's absolutely Sweet Marie by Jason and the Scorchers.
Oh, yes.
Um, I mean, what they do to it is cool, and it was a single for them and a video, and I've told the story. I saw the video on MTV. How cool was that? Which I think was shot around Nashville. um and they just rock. I mean, they own that song. It's like an
Sweet
original.
Marie. Yeah.
Yeah. Where are you, not Sweet Marie?
Where are
Forever.
you
Yeah.
tonight?
Yeah, it's so good, so good. Yeah, so that's mine. Absolute Sweet Marie by Jason and the Nashville Scorchers. What do you got next?
Tangled Up in Blue by Joan Osborne.
Never heard it, though. I like Joan Osborne.
Oh, God. Yeah. She can. Yeah. I don't know where I heard it, but I don't know if it's on like a tribute album or something, but there's not a
Are
is there no there's not a ton of those, is there? He's not dead yet, so
Dylan tributes? No. And people just cover his songs so much that, I mean, there are certain artists who have covered a dozen Dylan tunes.
yeah.
The
Oh
Birds,
yeah.
got a ton of them. Um, the Joan Osborne thing. Going back to Joan Osborne a second. Are you a Trigger hippie fan? When
Oh
she was with
yes, that
Trigger
first
hippie, yeah,
record is
yeah,
I,
that's
I
the
like
killer.
her Relish album that came out, and it's got One of Us on it.
Oh yeah.
And she did backing vocals on Cheap Trick's Sergeant Pepper's.
Oh cool. Yeah, she
Sang
sings
lead
cool.
on Lovely Rita.
She is the Trigger hippie was kind of a model band for me when I was playing with that young lady Ashley Youngstrom. Her and
Yeah.
I were doing stuff together. There's a song called Heartaches on the Line, um that I had a live video of her and Jesse Green. Very cool. So yeah, I love Joan Osborne, and I still think One of Us is a great song.
Yeah.
Where am I at now? This is a good one too, man. So good. Um, these guys are great with. They do a great cover of Springsteen's Atlantic City, but the band I Shall Be Released. That's
Yeah.
my funeral song. Everybody knows that. I hope somebody stands up for me when I'm not able to do that and make sure that song is played. Yeah, they actually that's the definitive version for me is the band's version of I Shall Be Released. So what do you got
Yeah.
next?
Don't Think Twice by Mike Ness.
Oh, I forgot about that. Dang it. That's on Under the Cover. No,
It
Under the
is Under
Influence.
the Influences.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. You know, this is to get off topic, to get off Dylan topic a little bit. You know what else is cool on that record is Big Iron. His
Oh,
cover of Big Iron.
yeah, it's so awesome.
Have you seen, or has anybody else out there seen, get on YouTube, dude, and look at like one of those late Woodstocks, 90, what was it, 94, 99? Is that when they did
94
Woodstocks?
and yeah,
99.
99. Yep.
Mike Ness plays it. He's one of the first bands
Oh, really?
yes, dude, with a pedal steel player, a dude on telly, him, and a drummer. And it's like straight country. I think there's a dude on fiddle. And
Wow.
and they played wood. And again, I'm sure even at Woodstock, most of those kids didn't know Mike Ness, and the ones who did probably knew Social Distortion. And now he comes out and does that.
You
But
like
it's really
cars,
cool,
kids, and kittens?
dude. I forgot we talked about like album chatter and stuff. Maybe we'll have to do a show on live chatter because his on that Live from the Roxy Social Distortion album when
Yeah.
he's talking during the stuff he says during that. Hey fellas, looks like the kittens are out tonight. Hey kitten, he's just
Yeah.
man, he's the man. He's the man. I used his line. It was his line where I don't know, somebody flipped him off and he used, hey, you got 9 more of those? Take all 10 and stick them up your ass. I saw the Social Distortion show where 2 girls were at the barricade. I've told the story before, but the 2 girls were
Yeah.
at the barricade and he's like, hey, kitten, you want to come backstage? And a girl starts climbing the barricade and he says, not you, your friend.
Yeah.
Not you, you're not fine enough, I think was the quote.
Ouch.
God dang. Yeah,
Oh,
that's raw. Mike Ness.
Mike
Yeah,
Ness.
that's a great record, by the way. That's a
Killer
great record.
record.
Yep.
So is Cheating at
Chess
Solitaire.
Solitaire. Yep. Agreed. I feel like he has a killer Johnny Cash cover on there too.
He
I can't
does
remember what it is.
No, he does Funnel of Love on there, but that ain't Johnny Cash. I don't
No,
remember
there's
which one he
it doesn't
does.
matter. We're moving on. We've moved on because I'm going to say Girl from the North Country, Johnny Cash and Bob Dylan.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if that really. I got a couple on here. I'm not sure. I'm hoping to eke by with that one. That's on Nashville Skyline, and it's a duet with Cash. Have you ever seen the Johnny Cash show clip where he has Dylan on
Yeah.
and they do it? Oh,
Yeah.
dude, how cool!
Some of those old clips are great,
Oh
man.
my God, dude. All these guys were getting back then. Were getting shows. I mean, the Glenn Campbell Fun
Yep.
Time Hour and the Johnny Cash, Crystal Gale, the Mandrells. I mean, you name it, man. They were
Yeah.
throwing shows out left and right, which was really cool. Yeah, Girl from the North Country, though. That was one of my father-in-law's songs he liked so much. Rest in peace. And that's something early on in my relationship with my wife when we were dating that I was able to. I remember I got him Nashville Skyline on CD, and it was a big deal. Like we
Yeah.
were getting CDs, and then he and I had that, and that was really cool. So, what do you got next?
Mighty Quinn by the band Got Hard. They're
Yeah,
from Switzerland, I think.
I
They're
know
like
the
a
name.
poppy white snake.
Wow, a poppy white snake,
That's
poppier
what
than
I
white
would.
snake.
They're
Okay,
like a little bit poppier than like a white snake or a crow. They're like a poppy crocus or something like that. Killer band. That this is from their
well,
album called G.
you can't just say they're like a poppy crocus and just skim over a statement like that.
Well,
There's so much NMD in that one statement that they're like a
it's
poppy or crocus is what he just. I hope somebody out there comments on this show that
stayed awake
Scott
all
said
night.
they're
Yeah,
like a poppy or crocus.
it's yeah.
The fuck does that mean?
I don't. poppier than Whitesnake or Crocus. I don't know.
And then you have Whitesnake and Crocus. I mean,
Well, the
Scott
guitars
Benting,
of
you have a problem, dude.
the guitars of Whitesnake.
See, and here he goes, folks. He's gonna tell us. He's gonna explain it, and it's gonna make sense. The guitars of Whitesnake.
Yeah, but just a hint more power pop than like a Whitesnake or a Crocus.
Okay, I'm in. I'm in. Gotthard. I've heard the band. I know.
Gotthard. Yeah, this is from their album called G. I believe it was. Not sure. The singer died soon after. I don't remember when, but
hold up,
that was
Scott.
the last one I got from them. Kind of.
Dude, hold on. We have audio problems.
Okay.
Hold on. Shoot. What happened here? I thought we were definitely recording. Hold on. Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
What in the world? What's the last thing we were talking about? Hold on. Gonna tell us, he's gonna explain it, and it's gonna make. Okay, cool. So I didn't lose much. I was back to Crocus. Man, this is good. The guitars of Whitesnake. Can you hear that? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. The guitars of Whitesnake. All right. I don't know what the hell is going on today.
Crazy.
I don't care. This is how we do it. And you know what? If you want slick production, go listen to someone else's podcast.
Yeah.
That literally
will listen to Are You Garbage? Or
at the end of the podcast, they'll thank like 5 people who you never see or hear.
Yeah.
Hold on. So
and it sounds exactly the same as this, and we didn't have to pay for any of those.
Well, I'm not paying anybody. Plus, man, I mean, why would I want to give up my 1997 Dell laptop? Okay, hold on. Yeah, I don't know how that's going to come out, but anyhow, Scott went on to explain what he meant by the guitars of Whitesnake, slightly poppier than Crocus. Okay, and that is the band Gotthard.
Yes.
Gotthard, right, Scott?
Correct.
All right, cool. Moving on. Man, we're only 30 minutes through the audio section of the show. We've stopped a couple times. We'll have 2 videos. This is really falling apart. This is probably Dylan. This is the specter of Dylan not wanting to be talked about.
Yeah, that could be. He doesn't do
interviews.
Don't make eye contact, exactly. All that stuff.
I know. That's crazy. All right, moving on.
How do you get that way?
I don't know, dude. You're so fucking insecure, I guess. You know what I mean?
Is it because no one's ever checked him?
Yes. Okay. God, man, I hope this doesn't stop recording. Here's a side street for you. Why do famous musicians, think they can say and do anything? Dude, you know, I'm trying to think of a great example, but okay. I mean, he's a poor example because he's actually tough. But like Mike Ness, if you said that to like my girlfriend or something, we would have a problem, dude.
Yeah.
And yet people don't make eye contact with Dylan or what, dude?
Or what?
Like what's going to happen to me? You're going to throw me out of here? Okay.
Am I going to learn how to write cool songs? Is it like picking fruit from the tree of knowledge and evil?
Exactly. You made eye contact with him and you wrote your own Blow It in the Wind.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get that level. But again, it might also be for even a guy like me. I get sketched out pretty quick and I'm a little socially awkward. So I can imagine you probably get some pretty fanatical people.
I just don't get how, be freaky. Like he's like this level that no one could seem to touch. Like when someone says, "Oh, what songwriting? What kind of songwriting?" and you say Dylan level, people freak the hell out.
Oh yeah. But yeah, right.
That's like saying the greatest guitarist ever is Jimi Hendrix. It's all subjective, it's because in my opinion, there's guys who are as good. Get the fuck out of here. Nobody can write as good as that guy.
Yeah.
Come on.
No. And the thing with Dylan is it's all been built up. But the thing with Dylan is it's like, are the Beatles the greatest band on earth? To me, they are. Or Elvis or Little Richard or Chuck. The thing is, and I always go back to the thing Lemmy said. And Lemmy had said, like, he was there when rock and roll happened. Like he remembers when the radio was Rosemary Clooney and then it was Elvis. Like he remembers that. So Dylan was probably one of the first people we know who took songwriting to that instead of, what was coming from popular music, Rosemary Clooney or whatever those songs were. He was the first one, I guess, to really go to this new place with songwriting where it wasn't about, I mean, maybe, I don't know. I mean, I'd look him in the eye and I'd take chances, I guess, but no, I wouldn't.
Yeah, what's he gonna do?
No,
Not like me? Okay,
no,
cool.
I wouldn't, dude. I would be respectful. I know I would be. I'd be so intimidated because he's these people have done so much for people like me that you assign value to them that they
But
don't
it's
necessarily
also
deserve.
it's also
right.
bad sometimes because then you get the don't make eye contact with me, or you get the these guys that think everything they write is gold, or
Well, that's the thing. I mean, even Dylan in a interview on 60 Minutes was saying, he's like, and he was pretty lucid, but he was still Dylan-y. And he was saying like, he can't do it anymore.
he
He's like,
doesn't send like you send me songs, Michael Kreppel sends me songs like, hey, check this out, tell me what you think. You're not
right,
looking for notes, you're just looking for something from somebody whose opinion you respect.
right. I'm sure Dylan.
And does everybody be like, this is gold?
Yeah, I
Or
don't
does
know.
somebody send him something back like, this sucks, get out of here with these bunny hugger
There's,
lyrics,
I wonder who his person is. Like, who does he respect enough to have influence his writing? Do you bounce it off? What was his life like? Did you bounce it off Joan Baez? Or he probably did. I mean,
Yeah,
those people he sat in a
probably.
circle with and played, but I doubt any of them were like, this is a piece of shit. I mean, I just can't imagine they did that. I don't know how that level works. I don't know. But my guess is, I don't know, dude. I guess he just did something no one had done yet. Now it seems pretty stock. Your singer, songwriter, harmonica rack, acoustic, socially conscious lyrics. But I guess nobody was really doing that back in the day
Or
of,
nobody had the balls to do it.
right. Well, there you go. I mean, he was questioning a lot of things.
I mean, when he went electric, and
I know. Well, that's one thing Dylan does not lack is guts and balls. He'll do whatever he wants. I mean,
yeah,
I'm such a people pleaser that if I were in a stadium of baseball field and people wanted to hear like a Rolling Stone,
yeah,
I would want to give it to them the way they wanted it because I'm such a
yeah.
people. He doesn't give a shit about that at all. At all. I mean, when he played in Grand Rapids, the bitch was the dude never got up from the piano. He only played piano. No acoustic, no harmonica rack, no, that whole Dylan thing
Yeah.
he didn't do. And he doesn't do that now. And I guess that's what it's like playing with him. From what I've heard and read, it might change then. I mean, there's a video. If you get a chance of seeing to see Dylan and the Heartbreakers, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, because they toured forever, years. Temples on Fire, I think was the tour. But anyhow, they play and I think it's Knocking on Heaven's Door, dude. They kick it off like Stan Lynch kicks it off. It almost sounds like it was Guns N' Roses before Guns N' Roses. It had that up and Dylan uses his hand. He waves Stan down. Stan's got to bring it the whole thing. And then he blows harp for a while. It's like, I think he did a lot of that. Chuck Berry does that, where you'll get on stage and then the song that was in B flat, he'll do it in a different key, just to be, I don't know, just to be Dylan or Chuck Berry, I guess. Okay. Anyhow, on to my list. I'm going to say it. Judge me if you will, people with an MD. But you'd be lying if you said this wasn't on your radar and didn't change your opinion of Dylan. It's the Guns N' Roses Knock on Heaven's Door cover.
Okay.
I mean, say what you will, dude. You know it. I know it. You'll listen to, most people will listen to like Knocking on Heaven's Door and still go, yeah, because they brought that thing to this next level. Not a next level. I shouldn't say that. They brought it to a more popular place.
Yes.
And it's a great cover, man.
Killer
Slash's cool solos. I mean, the whole thing's really cool. The worst part, the dumbest part, is the middle section that has the clip from Days of Thunder, which is where it's from.
Yeah.
You know, with the do 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 do, you gotta quit sniffing your own race suffocation jacket and all that shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still in their set, and it's still a great song, and it brought this great cover song to people, a whole generation of people who could master those 4 chords.
You're right.
There's,
yeah.
You know, even though half the people forget the A minor in there. There, I said it. And that it switches chorus to verse again. They make it their own. But yeah, Knocking on Heaven's Door. What do you got next?
All Along the Watchtower by James Marshall Hendricks.
Ah, you stole one from me.
I knew that would happen today.
That's a great. So Hendrix is a big deal to me. I mean, that's why I play left-handed. I love Jimi Hendrix. I love that Sgt. Pepper came out and like 3 days later he covers it, right? and his is it All Along the Watchtower that he misses a verse in?
Not sure.
There's a live version where he misses a verse, and he says something. Yeah, I know I missed a verse or whatever, you know.
Kind of like in the Tesla one. I screwed up a word there. Please don't tell Mick.
Yeah. That Hendrix All Along the Watchtower is. You know who else I'm going to throw in here too? Maybe I have them somewhere. I don't. I have them down here in my B list. But there's also a pretty good U2 cover of All Along the Watchtower on Rattle and Hum. So I'll throw that on. My next one is going to be Quinn the Eskimo from Manfred Mann's Earth Band.
Yes, great one.
And come on, dude. You know why. Everybody knows why I love it. Again, some of these versions, I would say the Byrds versions of his songs, I would certainly say the Hendrix All Along the Watchtower actually took his songs to a bigger audience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the ultimate cover version to me if you do that for someone. So yeah, I'm going to throw that in, that Manfred Mann cover. What do you got next?
Just Like a Woman by the Philosopher Kings. This is my NMD pick.
Wow. I don't know it at all, but I love that song.
They're Canadian. They did my wedding song that I danced with my wife called Charms.
So you had some NMD song in your wedding, didn't you? That was your song. Of course you
made fun of me about it.
That checks out.
Yeah, those guys are jazzy and they're cool. I don't know if they're around anymore. I saw them in Detroit somewhere in the 90s at like the Magic Bag or something like that, but they were awesome. Yeah, they're really that's from their album. I think it's self-titled. But yeah, Just Like a Woman. There's other covers of it too that are really cool.
Oh yeah.
But that's my favorite.
That's the other thing about Dylan songs is there's a lot of versions you could pick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of these, a lot of covers of some of these songs. This is one of my favorite Dylan tunes that nobody talks about. I covered it for a little while and it went over like a pregnant high jumper. But there's a great, I'm going to call it Jay Farrar, Uncle Tupelo cover of A Hard Rain's Gonna Fall.
Yes.
That's a great tune, man. Picture Jay Farrar's voice on that song.
Yeah.
You know, it's a hard, you know, whatever his delivery is, it's what is that?
It's sort of Dylan-esque delivery, but it's not as nasally.
Well, and the other thing about Farrar too is he has definitely like a what do I want to call it? There's a Woody Guthrie thing about him. He's like an old dude already.
Yeah,
like he was an old dude back then.
He might end up in Traction if he smiled or something.
I told you, dude. I saw him, you know, in that show, that acoustic show he did with Mark Spencer from the Blood.
I was there.
God, that was what a boring night that was. Thank God I was so wound up on drugs and alcohol. I'm glad I didn't see you there because I was hammered. Hammered.
Did you see Tweety too?
Yes. Yes, I saw Tweety with Glenn Cochee, their drummer. They played at Calvin College.
Yeah, I was at that show.
Yeah, we didn't know each other then.
No, we didn't know each other. I was at shows with my wife and we didn't know. We were at Overkill together.
I'm trying to think of, I can tell you that at that Farrar show, I remember, and I wouldn't do this today, obviously. It was a different time, but I was super drunk. And then I was smoking pot in the bathroom like I was in high school. And so if the bathroom smelled like pot at that show, that was me. But it was so
Not
boring,
much of a
Scott.
bathroom there.
No. Yeah, as if what was I going to do? Somehow ruin something at the old intersection? Yeah, it was I love Jay. You know that. I love Sunvolt. That show sucked. It was boring. It didn't suck. That's a lie.
It was boring.
Boring. So was
boring.
Tweety's solo show too. I thought that was boring. All right, moving on.
Except he did what did he do? Pecan pie or something?
Oh yeah, from the Golden Smog record.
Yes. Didn't he do that at that show?
I think he did. At the Calvin College thing, yeah. That is the one where the drummer did his solo thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
Yep.
It was a long time ago, but yeah.
I'm going to move on with this great cover. A couple covers. I'm going to group two together in the interest of time and the fact that they come from the very same thing. So, and I forget what birthday it was. You'll have to forgive me. It's been, I want to say it was 93-ish, but there was a Madison Square Garden. There was a Bob Dylan birthday celebration, all-star. John Mellencamp and his killer band at the time, they covered Like a Rolling Stone. It's one of my favorite covers of it.
Yep.
And at that same show, I think it was Eddie Vedder and Mike McCready and maybe Stone Gossard.
Masters of War.
Dude. Yes. Yeah. And it's the bomb. It's so good. And now,
who else? I think, Chris Smither?
Yes.
I think he does Masters of War too.
There's a lot of covers of that song. That's one of my favorite Dylan tunes.
He does. Chris Smither also does. It Takes a Lot to Laugh. It Takes a Train to Cry.
That's a great song too. I'm going to also throw in there, just in the interest of time, this is on an album of like B-sides for the Drive-By Truckers, and they do a version of Like a Rolling
Stone,
where each of them sings a verse. Love it. Love it. It's so good.
Is that from Politicians, Whores, and Ugly Buildings or something like that?
There's yes, it is, because the other one is called The Fine Print. They have and that has their cool cover of Rebels by Tom Petty on it.
And they do, one of them they do Uncle Frank live too, I think. But
yeah, I think that's on the first one, the one you mentioned. I
have two from the same band, and they are It Ain't Me, Babe, and Maggie's Farm from the band Silvertide.
Oh, I love Maggie's Farm too.
And Silvertide is Nick Perry, if you know Nick Perry.
I know the name, I think, but
Nick Perry and the Underground Thieves. He was the lead guitar player for Silvertide. Walt Lafty was the singer. I gave you a Silvertide disc.
Yeah. And I think I remember listening to it and commenting on it.
They were like, hair metal-ish after the hair metal thing had kind of went away for a little bit.
Yeah.
Or not went away, but went, in the underground. Went in the bushes with Homer.
Exactly.
So Silvertide, they were from Pennsylvania. Just Nick Perry's is an awesome guitar player. But those two covers, Maggie's Farm was just phenomenal. That's a great if you love hair metal, that cover will get you going.
Here's my last one. I'm surprised you didn't have this. It's Subterranean Homesick Blues by Reckless Kelly.
Oh yeah, from the live Stubbs.
Yes, that's a great cover. That's one of my favorite Dylan tunes. Because it's some of my favorite Dylan tunes are my favorite Dylan tunes because they're actually accessible. Do you know what I mean? They have a sense of structure. There's great lines in them. I mean, all the Dylan songs. I mean, I can go through each one and pick like favorite lines. You know what I'm saying? I think I mentioned, bring me a flute and a gun that shoots. From You Ain't Go Nowhere. I also really like in Subterranean Homesick Blues has been, you could call that proto rap. You could call it it's somewhat spoken word. It's very stream of consciousness, The pump don't work because the vandals took the handles. You know, that kind of shit. The Reckless Kelly version is really cool and accessible and even more. I mean, because for a Dylan song, that's still pretty accessible, you know?
Yeah.
Pretty poppy almost. And how many times do you think that video's been redone?
Oh God, yeah.
You know, that was a great video. So yeah, that was my last one. I have two more to talk about, but what do you got next?
My last one is it's one of my heroes, Warren Zevon doing Knocking
Love,
on Heaven's Door.
yeah, Zevon's the man.
Um if you go on YouTube, there's a video of I think when you first see the video picture, it's Billy Bob Thornton, and they recorded at his studio,
Oh yeah,
and it's just there's so many guys there that Zevon was the shit. I
yeah,
got him.
highly respected, highly respected.
What else does he do? He does Chimes of Freedom too. Warren does.
I heard that.
But I just I absolutely adore Warren Zevon. Have for since my dad played Excitable Boy for me many moons ago, and he wasn't playing it for me to check out Werewolves. He was like, you
Right.
got to check out this song, and it's one of my favorites off that record, and it's got hardly any words. It's called Nighttime in the Switching Yard.
Have you listened to Gigi Allen's cover of Carmelita?
Carmelita.
Have you heard that?
Yes.
Oh, so good.
That,
And
I mean, Zevon doing it can bring you to tears, but
yeah, I don't know.
um
There's something about that Gigi Allen version that's really good. And I'm not a Gigi Allen fan. That whole
me
thing.
me neither.
I mean,
Just
that's
something
just
about that. I don't know.
because I knew he was on heroin. That's why. I mean, I knew he was completely hooked when he's the video of him doing it, you know, and
Yeah.
he's all, Gigi Allen was always cut up and bruised and gross, and yet there he is, and he's singing it, and it resonates with him. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And he changes a line too in there. But anyhow, I want to talk about my two extras here. They're I don't think you were going to let them slide. One of them is called Love Rescue Me by U2. The other one is called Jammin' Me by Tom Petty and the
Tom
Heartbreakers.
Petty. Yeah.
I have them both on my list, but they're both, I can't really consider them covers because they're co-writes, co-written with Dylan.
Okay.
So, but those are two great. I mean, Jammin' Me is so good. It's a little dated, right? I mean, who's Joe Piscopo, right? But that's in there. I remember reading an interview that Eddie Murphy said F Tom Petty because there's a line in there, take back Eddie Murphy, take back Joe Piscopo. It's pretty, it's 80s era. It's off Let Me Up, I've Had Enough by the Heartbreakers. And the Heartbreakers and Tom Petty, they were Dylan adjacent for a long time. Dylan thought a lot of the Heartbreakers, to bring them out on tour, to have them as a backing band, because it would almost be like having the Byrds, I think. It'd be like having the Byrds as a backing band because the Heartbreakers have that, but even more modern pop sensibilities, I guess. So Jammin' Me, if you get a chance to check that song out, even if you're a Petty fan, who loves the Petty hits, make sure you check out Jammin' Me. It's a great song. Yeah. And then Love Rescue Me was a co-write, U2 and Dylan. It's really good. It's on Rattle and Hum. I just had those two, but I knew you wouldn't let me slide because you're very, you run a tight ship. You're not going to let me slide with some soundtrack or something.
Yeah, I mean, I had some that were like, I had others written. I had the Trucker song written down. Doesn't Waylon do Don't Think Twice somewhere?
Yes.
I thought so.
Yep. I don't know, man. You could go, I mean, you could have a year's worth of shows of Dylan covers, and you could break them way down to what works, what doesn't, what changes, what. I also think it's pretty ballsy to, with a Dylan song, to be switching any lines around. I bet that's a thing,
Well, there's also crazy band like doesn't My Chemical Romance do Desolation Row?
There's a bunch of that. There's a bunch of modern bands who will do Dylan tunes too that I just have never heard, so I couldn't really speak on them.
I think My Chemical Romance does Desolation Row, but
Yeah, that's pretty
not
cool.
positive.
And you know, those are, I mean, you say what you will about Bob Dylan, and you can, but it's been a long, long time that he's still, from Green Day to My Chemical Romance to the Jayhawks to, I mean, it's still Dylan, dude.
Yeah.
It's still Dylan. So, yep, you can say what you want about, you know, his voice. You can say what you want about the whole don't make eye contact, the whole terrible, he's a terrible interview most times. But man, you just don't know what's in there. I mean, how can I speak to Bob Dylan? Because I just don't know what it's like to be that.
I just wouldn't, yeah, I wouldn't know what, I'm not good at small talk anyway. So like, if I meet somebody, unless I know, like the first time I met you, I knew what to say because I knew something in common we had.
Yeah, I
But if
know.
you don't have that with me, I don't
Yeah.
know what, I'm not good at small talk.
I'm not either. I'm so socially awkward. I don't know what I would say to Dylan.
Do you like Faster Pussycat? And then
That's
if they
what I
don't
would
say
say to
anything,
Dylan.
I walk away, you know?
And Dylan's like, I love Faster Pussycat.
I
My favorite
love that band.
This is a genius band right there.
My son Jacob used to listen to them.
I would who did I just see or talk about who was friends with Jacob? I was like, oh yeah, I'm friends with Jacob, and Bob came in the recording studio when they were recording. I don't remember who it was. But the other thing about Dylan and about meeting Dylan and all that is I would try like the NMD thing. I would certainly want to know because he was up for a gig and got turned down as a piano player. His stage name then was Eldon Gunn. And he had tried out, and I won't remember the name of the band, but let's just say it was like, you know, it wasn't Frankie Valli or some band like that. He tries out on piano, and Bobby Keys, the famous saxophone player from the Stones and Joe Ely, and he was the saxophone player in the band when Eldon Gunn came, and they kind of told him like, yeah, man, it's not bad, kid, but get your shit together and try again some other time.
Yeah.
And that's when then I think after that, he moved from Minnesota out to New York. And I'm trying to think of who I saw an interview. It was Tommy Stinson. It was Tommy Stinson who the Replacements were in the studio and Dylan was in the studio, saw Tommy and said, hey, you know, can I bring my kid's a big fan. Do you mind if I bring him tomorrow to meet you guys? So they brought Jacob over to meet Dylan. Or I'm sorry, brought Jacob over to meet the Replacements because Dylan said that, you know, his kid was a fan. Yeah. But he even, you know, what do you say to that level of, I don't know what you would say.
I don't know.
Other than I guess I would probably be like, thanks a lot. Like, you know, thanks for the joy I say that to Denny Smith.
Yeah.
You know, just thanks. So yeah, I love Dylan. I do. I always will. Like I said, the change in my later years is I like his voice.
Yeah.
I almost prefer to hear Visions of Joanna is right now my favorite Dylan tune. And I want to learn it really bad. I'm old.
There's some great stuff off that record.
Dude, but you know what songs I got in later in life? Like Hurricane is a later in life song for me. I didn't like that before. Now I like it.
Don't tell anyone you don't own Blonde on Blonde.
Exactly. And those are my Dylan. I do have Dylan albums that matter to me. You know, I'm always going to be bringing it all back home. I'm always going to be Blonde on Blonde, Nashville Skylines, always, because those were kind of becoming what, you know, kind of models for alt country. And I'd hear about them all the time. You know,
guys Blood on the Tracks.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I still, you know, I'm still always going to like Blowing in the Wind. I'm always going to like him with just his acoustic. You know, he doesn't have to be electric for me to like him.
No.
And I like his voice. I like his guitar playing, his harmonica, he's Bob Dylan, and I'm a huge Dylan fan. And I owe that lady, my teacher, Gwen Nelson was her name. I owe her a lot. She was a Dylan fan, and when I said I didn't like Bob Dylan, she was offended. She was offended. Like, how dare you? And then she was like, how dare you? Even though, I mean, I would never do it now. But back then I probably called myself a musician, you know? And I think she was like, how dare you call yourself a musician and talk about songs if you don't know Bob Dylan? Like, I'm going to talk to her about how poignant, you know, Faster Pussycat is. And she's like, you don't understand what that means.
Yeah.
So
I could write everything you know about music on the back of a matchbook with a fat crayon.
Right. And that still holds true. There's so much I don't know, but it's people like that that really, and I respected her. I respected her enough to really listen, you know, because there's just certain people. My son right now, I know I talk about him too much, but he's going through a phase of what I consider not shitty music, but like he's discovered Creed and Nickelback and those bands. And you know what, dude? He listens to them as unbiased as anyone I've ever heard. He's just like, you know, how can you not? That chorus is really catchy. And it's like, dude, I told him the other day, I'm like, that Photograph song, look at this photograph, right? I'm like, you know what, dude? If that song sucks so bad, how come I know half of it just from hearing it? You know, I know what the hell's on Jimmy's hat or some shit.
I only knew about it because of that song that somebody spoofed, like, look at this Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
That was what? Freaking hilarious.
And you know what, dude? When he, you know, can you take me higher? All that, right?
Yeah.
With arms wide open. I'm like, you know, I wanted to be dickish. Like, I don't listen to that shit. And I may have even like said something like, oh, I'm a terrible parent or whatever, which I am. But not because of that, because he does not care. He doesn't care.
You'd be a terrible parent if you let him listen to that. Yes.
You know what? He doesn't care what Scott Benting and John Merchant's fucking podcast think. If he likes it, he listens to it.
That's good.
That is good.
I don't care either. If people, I've never been offended. I look at it as your loss.
Well, and the thing is too, man, like with Dylan, if you tell me you don't like Bob Dylan's voice, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I mean, how stupid can I be? How can you not appreciate Bob Dylan's voice? Of course I get why you don't. I also know why you don't like Neil Young too. I can get all that, you know. But in my world, you know, Dylan's always going to be, he's always living at the top for sure. You know, Beatles will always be, but again, Beatles have that Dylan influence. You know, they were influenced by Dylan. They reacted to Dylan. A lot of my favorite artists did that. So I owe Bob Dylan a lot. I'm not going to see the movie. Maybe if it comes out on TV.
Yeah, I won't go see it either.
Yeah, if it comes out on TV, I will. But I'm not theater ready. Although I did comment, there's a Zeppelin movie coming out that I might go see.
I don't know.
You know, NMD people are always disappointed in things like that. You know, we get all shitty about that.
Well, yeah, I mean, the Motley Crue one was ripe for NMD people to pick apart with.
That was a nightmare, dude. Don't even get me started. Dreadful. Don't even get me started on the headstock of Mick's BC Rich guitars. The Widow headstock didn't even exist.
Playing Billy Squire, a song that wasn't out yet.
That wasn't out yet. Well, they're playing My Kind of Lover, yeah. All right, let's stop NMDing right now. You got any parting words for us today, bud?
Give a man freedom and he'll sit in a cage. Give him oppression and he'll write about it on an internet page. Our fathers were drinkers because we shipped them off to war. Now I'm drunk on a Tuesday because I'm just so fucking bored.
Thanks, everybody. See you next time.
See you next time.